How you doing, people? Robert here, AKA Robess Anti-Corruption Scotland. I'm going to do this video, right? I've been watching things and everything seems to be quiet all in the Western Front. There's no more rioting, trouble, property damage, right? Now, the point being is, I've spoke time and time again about a word called controversy. Now, controversy, what is controversy? The main point of controversy is it gets you into trouble when you commit property damage. It gets you into trouble when you ignore things. It gets you into trouble when you become aggressive and argue. And that's what the legal system rely on to get where they want you to be and what they want to do to get you under control. And that's exactly what's happened with all this fiasco, with the protests, or the shouting, bawling, property damage. Now people, what has the people achieved? Ask yourself the question. What has the people achieved? You've achieved nothing. People are being locked up for putting up posts on Facebook. People are being locked up for putting posts on TikTok, right? Because it offends a legal system, legal society, and goes against the grain of what they want to do and what their agenda is, the corporate agenda, against the people, against the lands of Scotland, England, Ireland and Wales. Let me tell you people, I was watching closely while this was going on, right, and I was paying attention. I seen videos where there were people in the crowd making ear signals to men in uniform at the side of the crowd, and the men in the uniforms, known as police officers, was making signals back. A lot of this violence within these lawful protests was instigated to cause it. And it worked. The people fell right into the trap. They walked right into the booby trap. They did it in a way that people didn't know what was going on because they were too hyped up, too aggressive, and not focused on what they were there for and what they were doing. Biggest majority of people knew what they were there for, but they get tied up with the nonsense and the fiasco. Remember this, people. In protests, the police always put plants, and that's to hype up the protest group and get them aggressive so they can arrest them, hit them with their truncheons, throw them in the ground, throw them in vans, and abuse their powers of authority. The police have as much to blame in this because they were aggressive as well. And when you fight aggression with aggression, it's got a bad result, as you found out. Now, we see people getting between months and years in jail, right? The ones that's getting years in jail for property damage, I agree with that, because people's property should never have been damaged, because that wasn't what it was about. It was supposed to be for to get our country back peacefully and protect the sons and daughters of the lands of England, Ireland, Wales and Scotland. But it's backfired because it get right out of hand. Now people, I would say, are too scared to get back on the street in numbers because of what's happening. Because they think they're going to get arrested. Now, as for Stammer, Stammer's committed a very serious matter here, people. And that is the way the judicial system is treating people. Unlawfully. No fair due process to prepare for a case, and influence the judicial to railroad them. And your lawyers, liars, whores of Babylon are playing a big part in this, people. You're in a catch-22 in this situation, right? And people that's been locked up was in a catch-22. There is no due process. That was wrong. It's unlawful. It was just a railroad system. And the lawyers, shame on you for allowing this to happen, because you're part of the legal system, legal society. Your judges, your procurator fiscals, and your whores of Babylon, known as lawyers, are all part of a bar association in Scotland. They're part of the legal society in Scotland, called the Law Society of Scotland. They all pay into this private corporation. It's a private corporation, people, and their oath and duty and obligation is to the judicial. the legal system, legal society, it is not to the man or woman, or person if you want to call yourself a person, right? So what the catch-22 is when you went to court, where I'm looking at, and I've been dealing with this system nearly 13 years, I know how this system works, I know how corrupt this system is, and I know how corrupt the lawyers are. The lawyer liars cause of Babylon, right? I know how this works, right? What's happening here is the people that went to court getting arrested, locked up, had no choice, had no due process. What was happening is they were getting taken to court sometimes the next day or whenever they were arrested. The Whore of Babylon would tell them that if you plead guilty, then you will get a third off your sentence, right? That's okay, right? But it's not okay because there were no due process. Because if you did not accept the third half of your sentence and accept what was getting me a jail sentence, and I've no sympathy for the ones that committed damage or violence or beating people up, right? I don't agree with that because that's common law offences and you deserve everything you get. That shouldn't happen. You're there for a reason to protest and get your voices heard, and it backfired. It was just a shambles as far as I'm concerned for what I seen, and it was diabolical. A lot of instigation was there, people for to rile the crowd and get them into trouble, and that's what's happened now. They've got you into trouble and they're getting people locked up, and they'll still be locking people up weeks to come when they find out who is in cameras, where and when and what they did and how they did it, right? So you still get a chap at your door to come people for use people that think they've got away with it because they'll be looking through all the CCTV and they'll get your face and they'll come and get you, right? And you'll end up getting a jail sentence because of stammer, right? Please, people, you have to change your mentality of thinking. And you have to remember the word controversy because that's got everybody in trouble right now, right? Then you had groups called allegedly the far right kicking off, right? They weren't there for the right reason. They were there just to cause it and get all yous into trouble at the same time because they were amalgamating with yous and riling yous up. And then you ended up, you just didn't have the corporation known as police to contend with. You were actually arguing with this other mob. Then we've got the Muslim community. What happened there, people, was a great tactic with a legal system, legal society. They caused hatred. They caused division with all communities to go against each other instead of all coming together peacefully and resolving this matter in numbers as communities, right? Now, as far as I'm concerned, Stammer has to go and the so-called numpties in the Labour Party have to go, right? Now, what I would suggest, right, when Stammer done the election with all these numpties, right, known as politicians, with their politics, polarising politics, right, they told you certain things to get them into power, right? They didn't tell you they were going to give Ukraine billions. They didn't tell you they were going to give other countries all sorts of money. They didn't tell you they weren't going to stop the boats, right? They said they were going to stop the boats, right? And it's still going on, right? They've crucified other people, the pensioners with the pensions. They're going to tax them on it. They're doing away with the heating allowance for the pensioners and the elderly and the poor. You're going to get more deprivation and poverty at a rapid response. Plus the fact, as I keep telling you, this character, and that's what he is, he's playing a part in a theatre, right? These parliaments are just a theatre with actors. They're all actors, people. So please pay attention, right? It's a fact. Statutory legislation is corporate rules and policies by corporations. The government can never be sovereign because it has changed the characteristics. They're all registered and done in Bradstreet as businesses, right? There's a conflict of interest with all these politicians because they're all getting their own businesses operating while they're doing business for our people in our country. Now, a proper sovereign government, which they can never be, is there to protect the land of Scotland, England, Ireland and Wales, protect the people, protect the people's property and protect the people's rights. These people are not doing this, right? These people are going to screw you people, right? What I would suggest, all you people that voted for your so-called entity known as Labour politicians, men and women acting in capacity as a politician, right? Politician's a fictitious title. It means nothing. It's a mask that these muppets hide behind people, right? Police officer, another mask, sheriff, judge, procurator fiscal, lawyer, liar, solicitor. Masks that they hide behind, masquerade to escape liability, and that's what they're doing. And they're using word trickery, as I keep telling you in previous videos, legalese, dog land, and you're being zipped into nonsense, right? Please, people, I'm telling you this with good heart, good intention, and I'm really disappointed because the numbers was there, but what happened was diabolical. And look at the consequences now. People are scared to speak on Facebook, TikTok. Then they're saying that the entity known as council is going to fine you. There's a council in England somewhere going to fine you for swearing. Really? The words coming out of my mouth, people, is my property. The breath that I breathe is my property. This video is my property. This creation of this video is my property. Everything related to the man or woman is their property, right? Your freedom of speech is your property, right? Men and women represent governments, corporations, whatever you want to call them, politicians, numpties hiding behind masks, don't give you rights. And that's the bit yous are missing. Yous are all tied up with this legal system bullshit. And you need to get your head where it should be instead of listening to the media and all the rest of it. The media played a big part in this as well, blowing everything out of proportion, twisting the words, twisting the news for the legal system, legal society, and turning people that wasn't involved in these protests against the people that was. This is the manipulation to cause division, people. They want everybody in-house fine. All communities, doesn't matter what colour, race, they want everybody fine. And that way there's a distraction because everybody's fighting with each other. Well, everybody is fighting with each other. They're getting where they want to be. They're getting their agenda. As I told you, STAMA is a WEF, World Economic Forum, WHO, World Health Organization, and United Nations are all part of the same fraud. Like the WHO now is coming out with some sort of Tom and Jerry virus. Right, it's going to be an epidemic, blah, blah, blah. Right? They're doing everything to crucify the people. They're doing everything to steal from the people. They're doing everything to control the people. And the people is walking right into it because they've took their eye off the ball, people. And this is a bit you have to realise. You've took the eye off the ball. You're not thinking properly. You're not focused properly because you're tied up in nonsense and everybody's getting confused with each other and everybody's fighting with each other, and that's not the way it should be, right? The boats have to stop, right? Because this is sovereign lands. England, Ireland, Wales and Scotland are sovereign lands. This is the people's lands that was born and bred here. It doesn't matter about people coming from other jurisdictions, entities, because it's terrible how our people, how our sons and daughters, how our elderly, how our sick are being treated with these scumbags. What I would say for all you people that voted your Labour politicians, write to the ones that get in power and tell them that you're rescinding your vote. And the reason you're rescinding your vote is because you were lied and deceived. Misrepresentation, right words and conduct to deceive because they told you a pack of lies to get into power. That's fraud at the highest level, right? There's no excuse for that. They deceived the people with a lawfulness to deceive, and they've did it, right? You can rescind that vote because the vote is based in fraud. The vote is based in lies. And it's time you bring this Labour Party down in Stammer, right? He's just a corrupt wrongdoer, right? And it's terrible how you people have fell into this trap. It's so quiet out there now, right? People are scared, right? And that's a fact. And for somebody to say, I'm not scared, well, I think that you are, because if you step out of line now, they're going to lock you up if you do it for the wrong reason. Please, people, start changing your way of thinking. Stop listening to the media. Stop listening to newspapers. Stop listening to the radio. Stop listening to TV, right? And stop listening to politics. Look what they're doing to your people. Look what they're doing to the people's lives. It's time. As I say, time and time again, there's only one way forward for the lands of England, Ireland, Wales and Scotland. And that's a sovereign government. A people government where the people are in control, where the people can hold the people that's in control to account. There is no accountability in this system. There is no remedy in this system. What's wrong with you people? All the communities that belong in this country, right? It was born and bred here, raised here, need to come together and stop fighting each other. It's terrible what happened out there. I'm just doing this video, people, because I want to put my thoughts out there. I've been listening to all these guru experts out there talking a load of nonsense, and it's wrong. And I tell you what I have noticed, in TikTok now there's not so much swearing. There's not so much swearing, people. There you go, that shows you the fear factors worked. That shows you the threatening factors worked. And that shows you if you step out of line, they're going to come and use force, and that's going to work. Because we've got a corrupt system at the start of this, before this even started. Now it's even more corrupt. They're railroading people without giving them a proper trial. When you get arrested for some sort of offence, as they call it, a crime, you're supposed to have due process where yourself, the man, woman or person, whatever you want to call yourself, has the right to get full disclosure of the evidence against yourself. The witness list that you can go through and read. These lawyers are part of this. You have been stitched up a peach, people. You have been stitched up a peach. And if you don't change your mentality of thinking and focus properly and pay attention to what's going on and how it's going on, you're going to get no remedy. This is going to get worse, people, right? This is going to get worse. People have to take control back lawfully. Non-compliance. ABC rule. Accept nothing from men and women hiding behind masks, represent a legal system, legal society, especially Stammer and the rest of the numpties, because they're all paid liars. Believe nothing from people representing a legal system, legal society that's hiding behind masks to escape liability, because they're all paid liars, and challenge everything. No matter how big, how small, everything is open to challenge, right? And that's a fact. I don't know what more I can say, people, but what I would consider now is what I've just said about rescinding your votes, right? I knew the way this so-called entity known as Labour was going to go when they win. I paid attention, people. I don't get involved in politics and lies, but I paid attention and I knew exactly what was coming, and it's coming. He's a control freak, the same as Sadiq Khan, right? And as far as I'm concerned, these people are racist against our people. And I'll tell you the reason why. Because everybody that wasn't born and bred here, raised here, paid into this system, is getting discriminated against, because they're taking everything away from the people that's rightly entitled to get this stuff that they're entitled to, like heating allowance, their pensions not being taxed because they've paid into the system all their life, they've paid tax, national insurance all their life, and they're getting crucified again. Right? Remember, people, this is another thing about Sadiq Khan shouting about he's now going to put some sort of tax on your property if you have got a slab or tarmac, it's no grass. That's your property. He doesn't have that authority, people. No man or woman representing this system has the authority over another man or woman if you know you're standing, if you stand in the square and stand up and fight back, right? If you paid for something, right, you own it. But the problem we have when it comes to property, cars, registering anything, your sons and daughters, etc., etc., we've been duped and you think that that's right. Legal is right. Well, legal isn't right. Lawful is right. As I keep telling you, there is two systems. Legal, lawful. Legal, incorporated or unincorporated for the legal person, a fiction, an entity doesn't exist. It only exists in paper. Or lawful, which what relates to man or woman, living, breathing flesh and blood. These people need to sort your heads out, and you need to realise you're not a person, because everything that happens in these courts, in these councils, in social work, tax, inland revenue, blah, 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 in this legal system, legal society, relates to person. As I said before, black ink, the sign of the dead, all capital name, entity, corporation, fiction, fact, and in a box doesn't exist. Alright people, please share this video far and wide, and I hope what I'm saying in here resonates with people that's been involved in all this, and I hope they see the common sense, right? What I'm saying. This is the point, people. Common law. No right from wrong. And everybody knows right from wrong. There's no excuse. Do not commit harm, loss or injury, property damage or fraud within a contract. Alright people? That's the law. If you've committed no harm, loss or injury, you've committed no crime. But when you start losing the head and hitting people, smashing property, well, as far as I'm concerned, you deserve everything you get, and I'm not being bad, but you do, because you know right from wrong. So why would you commit a wrong if you know it's wrong? Alright people, that's all I've got to say. Please share this video far and wide, and I hope these people pay attention, and I hope these people understand where I'm coming from. Again, I'm doing this with good intention and good heart. I'm trying to educate you with my best ability and knowledge how this works, how this system works. And this system doesn't work for the people. Alright people, take care, be safe, and I'll speak soon. Have a good day people.